Good morning, dear children. Dear children, we have to start our chapter from this topic, that is demand for equality and justice. Now, children, as we have talked, in the previous module, social reformers for working out for equality of women and education and all that. Fine. Now, equality, and there was a lot of caste system which people were facing. So, demand for equality and justice. Now, gradually by the second half of the 19th century, what happened? Now, people they which belong to some non-Brahmin caste, they began organizing movement for what they started making movements for the caste discrimination. Fine, and what they asked for, they demanded for social equality and justice. The Satnami movement in central India was focused by uh, Ghasidas, who worked among the leather workers and organized a movement to improve their social status. Fine, so there were so many movements that time. In eastern Bengal, Haridas Thakur, Matua sect, they worked among the Chandala cultivators. Haridas now questioned the Brahmanical text, which text is supporting the caste system. In what is present day Kerala, a guru from Eshawa caste, Sri Narayan Guru, he also talked about the ideas of unity for his people, and he argued that everybody should treat people equally and did not treat people unequally equally on the basis of caste differences. According to him, he says that all humankind, they belong to the same caste. Fine. And he used to say that Oru Jati, Oru Matam, Oru Daivam, Manu Shanu, means one caste, one religion, one God of humankind. Fine. So all these, sects, they were founded by the leaders, and these leaders, they came from non-Brahmin caste and they worked against this caste system. They tried to change the habits and practices which are provoking the which are dominating the caste. They also tried to just create a sense of self esteem, means people should have self respect among the subordinate caste. So what is now the next topic is gulamgiri. Now, what is Gulamgiri? Now, it is one of the most vocal amongst the lower caste leaders. Lower caste leaders, he knew about it. That is Jyotirao Phule. He was born in 1827, and he studied in a school which was under the Christian missionaries. When he grew up, he developed his ideas about the injustice which was being done on the basis of the caste in the society. So he just attacked the Brahmins who were claiming that they are superior. And since they were the Aryans, Phule argued that Aryans were the foreigners, so you came from outside the subcontinent and you just defeated and subjugated the true children of the country, and those who had lived here for from before the coming of Aryans, as the Aryans established their dominance. Now the others are just defeated people. All the defeated people, you're calling them as inferior and as low caste people. Fine. And according to Phule, what he said, that the upper caste has no right to their land, their power in reality. This land is belonging to the real people, which are known as low caste people. Fine. What else he said? He said that Phule claimed that before the Aryan rule, there was a golden age when the warriors, the peasants, they used to till the land, the rule of Maratha countryside, where the ways of life was just and fair. And he also proposed that Shudras, which are the laboring caste, and Ati Shudras, those who are the untouchables, they should be uniting themselves for challenging this caste discrimination which is prevalent with them. The Satya Shodhak Samaj, fine, it was an association which Phule founded, and it was working for working for the caste equality. In 1873, children, Phule he wrote a book. The name was Gulamgiri, meaning slavery. And some 10 years before this, the American Civil War had been fought, leading to the end of slavery in America. So Phule dedicated this book to those Americans which were fighting for this slave, and they established a link between the condition of lower caste in India and the black slaves in America. Fine. As this example shows, Phule just wanted to extend its criticism for the caste system, and he just want to argue against the forms of inequality, children. Fine. Now, he was also concerned about the upper caste women, the women which were, miseries of the laborer, and he was also worried about the humiliation of the low caste. So, the movement for caste reform was continued in the 20th century also, even by the other great Dalit leaders like B.R. Ambedkar and E.V. Ramaswamy, Naicker, they forwarded it. Fine. Then after that, children, who could enter temples? Who were the peoples who could enter the temple? Fine. So you can see figure 14, the gateway of Madurai temple, which was drawn by Thomas Daniel in 1792. The untouchables, they were not allowed anywhere in this sort of temple. Their entry was totally banned. Fine. Now Ambedkar, you all know he was born to a Mahar family, and as a child, what all he experienced was the caste system. For everyday life, he was facing problem. In school also, he was forced to sit outside the classroom on the ground, was not allowed to drink water from the taps which the upper caste children were using. And even after finishing school, when he went for the fellowship, I mean the higher studies in USA, on his return to India in 1919, he wrote about that upper caste power in the contemporary society. In 1927, he started a temple entry movement, fine, in which his caste, which was Mahar caste, they all participated. All the people they participated, Brahmin priests. They were told that when the Dalit use water from the temple tank, so they used to stop these Dalit. Ambedkar, he led three such movements for temple entry between 1927 to 1935. His ultimate aim was to make everyone see the power of caste prejudice within the society. How so much of this caste prejudice is there. The non-Brahmin movement. Fine. I think the last topic. Now, in the early 20th century, children, there were non-Brahmin movement which started, and the initiative it basically came from the non-Brahmin castes. Fine, those who got those who were now able to get education, wealth, and influence. Now they were just arguing that Brahmins were the hires of Aryan invaders, which were from the north, and conquered the southern lands from the original inhabitants which were there. Fine. So those were the Dravidian races. They also challenged the Brahmanical claim for power. They were just challenging that why Brahmins are claiming for the powers. E.V. Ramaswamy, Naicker, or you can call him Periyar, as he was called, came from the middle class family. He belonged to a middle class family, and what was interesting that he was ascetic in his early life and had studied Sanskrit scriptures carefully. Fine. So he studied the Sanskrit scriptures very carefully. Later, he became a member of Congress, and only to leave it in digest when he found that the feast organized by the nationalist seating arrangement followed caste distinction. He became the member of Congress, but he found that there was also a lot of caste distinction during their meetings and all. This is the lower caste were made to sit at a distance from the upper caste. Now he was very convinced that untouchables they had to fight for their dignity, so he founded the self-respect movement. Fine, a movement was started by him known as self-respect movement. He argued that untouchables they are the true upholders of the original Tamil and Dravidian culture, fine, who were subjugated by the Brahmins, who were controlled by the Brahmins. And what he felt was all religious authorities, why they are looking at this social distinction and why they are, inequality. This inequality is not God given. Untouchables, they have to free themselves and from all religions in order to achieve social equality. So they had to become free from this religious beliefs and religious people. He was very outspoken. He spoke everything, openly, and he was a critic of Hindu scriptures. Fine, especially the codes of Manu, the ancient lawgiver, and the Bhagavad Gita and the Ramayana. He said that these texts they have been used to establish the authority of Brahmins over the lower caste and domination for men over women. So he was a critic. He used to criticize that all these books they are just texts which are just establishing the authority of Brahmins and men. Fine. And these assertions, what he was, speaking, they did not go unchallenged. Many forceful speeches, writing, movements, lower caste leaders, they were just rethinking, self criticism, upper caste nationalist leader, they all, challenged it. But this orthodox Hindu society, fine, also reacted. How? By, founding the Sanatan Dharm Sabha and the Bharat Dharma Mahamandal in the north and the associations like Brahman Sabha in Bengal. Their main objective was to just uphold the caste distinction as the cornerstones for the Hinduism, and they just wanted to show how this was sanctified by scriptures. Scriptures are saying that this distinction should be there. Debates and struggles were there on this caste. It continued for from the even from the colonial period to till today. It's going on. So it was, you know, going on and going on. So organizing for reform, children, please go through it and elsewhere. Just go through it thoroughly. It's important. So this was the end of the topic, children. Thank you and have a